You're listening to the Let's Go Buffalo podcast, your new favorite podcast for everything Bills and Sabres. What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the Let's Go Buffalo podcast, your favorite podcast for all things Bills and Sabres with the pals, Nigel, Tom, and Jake. Episode 14 coming at you. Quick reminder to everyone to follow our social medias on Instagram and X at Let's Go Buff Pod. That's Buff with 2 F's and Pod, P-O-D. Let's say hello to the fellas. Tom, how we doing, pal?
Hey, happy spooky season, boys. Happy Halloween.
Ooh. Tom, will you be trick-or-treating this evening?
Yes, I will, and I expect to be turned around.
And what? And what is your costume, Tom?
Excuse me, sir. You are far too old for this.
But Tom, what will you be dressed as?
What's my costume?
Yeah.
I don't have anything quick and snappy. A tired 30-year-old.
Yeah. Welcome to my life. Jake, how we doing, pal?
I'm great. Happy Halloween.
Nice, dude. Yeah. I will not be trick-or-treating either. Do you guys get trick-or-treaters where you are? I don't get any living downtown.
You've been to my house. I live in the middle of the woods.
That's right.
No,
yeah, that's right. So
no. Everybody drives down the mountain and goes into town and trick-or-treats down there. That's what
nice. Jake, what about you? Do you and your lovely wife get any trick-or-treaters where you are?
First year here, so I don't know. I will be fighting with her where she'll be trying to usher children in the door to come get candy, and I will be turning the lights off and trying to keep them out. So we'll see who wins.
Jake will be pelting them with candy from the porch.
You like Skittles, you little asshole? Get out of here.
Dude, I'm the same way, dude. Like, ever since I got into my own place, shut that shit down, turn the lights off. Like, nobody's even alive in that
No
house.
one home.
Yeah. Exactly. Nope. Yeah. Get your candy.
Full foreclosure notice on the front door or something like that, just to drive the whole point home.
And Tom, you can probably relate to this, dude. As a teacher, Halloween's like the worst day ever, dude. Because like, as a teacher, you're like, it's like practically in your contract. You're supposed to like give the kids candy, and then they're just absolutely crazy all day. It's the most unproductive day of like outside of like the day before Christmas break. It's one of the most unproductive days of the year as a teacher. It's terrible.
And the day before Christmas break is exciting for me too. So at least that one's fun. I had a kid walk into class today. I have a beginning band class. This kid plays trombone. They came in and they had one of these giant inflatable like costumes where it like looks like the aliens like picking them up and abducting them. And this girl like is looking at me like as if she's and she's all upset that I'm asking her like, can you play your trombone with that on? And she's like, No, I cannot. And I was like, okay, well then how are we going to problem solve this? Because it is band class and you need to play your oh my God. Just as if I was like asked her to, I don't know, go to North Korea or something. Like what?
Dude, I'm also reminded daily with these kids that I'm old, bro. Like, cause like apparently one of my kids came in and was wearing like a very obvious like Taylor Swift outfit. And she was like, who am I, Mr. C? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I have no idea. She's like, I'll give you a hint. I'm a famous female singer. I'm like, well, that narrows it down. There aren't very many of those. So, yeah, dude, it's just a reminder that we are getting old here.
Well, but the next more important question is, when do you guys start listening to Christmas music? Is tomorrow the day?
Dude, for me, I need to get through Thanksgiving before I can totally switch into Christmas mode. But the day after Thanksgiving, for me, that is when like automatic Christmas music.
That's the
rollover.
Goes yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I'm there with you. I will definitely sprinkle in some Christmas music if it's a nice snowy day and it's starting to feel like it. But yeah, you're right. And right after like Black Friday is a big Christmas day in the house.
Yeah. Big time, dude. Big time. All right, boys. Well, shall we get ourselves into a little bit of a beer corner here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's snap them.
Give us a little countdown.
3, 2, 1. Nice, fellas. Jake, let's start with you today. What are you drinking today, bud?
In the spirit of Halloween, I have a pumpkin ale with real pumpkin, it says, from Smutty Nose Brewing.
Nice.
I don't usually like pumpkin beers all that much, but it's Halloween, so I'm going for it.
I absolutely love pumpkin beers. Tom, what
I
do you got,
could, I
buddy?
could just, I could just, yeah, subsist on
We drank
pumpkin beer.
we drank a fair share of those back in our day.
Yeah, well, still am.
Still,
I think this might be a repeat. Minky Boodle. I have a
Yep.
Minky Boodle. Somebody had that from Tin Man, Buffalo, New York.
Nice, dude.
Nice.
This one was
Tin
left in my
Man.
refrigerator by my mother. So thanks, Mom.
Nice. We love that. Well, I also kind of have a bit of a repeat here. I am drinking a two kind IPA. So that's like the double IPA version of the kind that I drank like for the first 6 weeks of the podcast. Now it's just a double with higher ABV, and we'll see where this podcast ends up in about 20 minutes here.
I love it. It looks delicious, I gotta say. So.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's
I can see
a beer.
I can see the condensation going down the can. It looks like so good.
Looks good, right? Yeah. All right, well, I guess let's get into some Bills talk to start. And there's obviously a lot to talk about with the trade deadline taking place today. We're recording this on Tuesday, the 31st at 5:21 p.m. So
good timing, good reporting.
Good timing, right?
Good.
Yeah. So we'll get to the trade deadline stuff, but we're going to start with the recap of the Bills-Bucs game. Should we go around and do a positive takeaway from the game real quick, please?
Yeah.
Can we come up with one quickly? Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
I would like to start. Pick on me, Mr. Croston.
All right, Mr. Smith,
guys, the Bills
go.
won a game. The Bills won. Oh, my gosh. The world did not come crumbling down. We were able to continue on with our week. Yes, there may be concerns, but the Bills won. We're okay.
We're okay. Jake, you got one, buddy?
That was mine. That the Bills won. It was less gut-wrenching and heart-shaking than other wins that we've had the pleasure or displeasure of watching so far. So yeah, I just got the W. That's the takeaway.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think the biggest thing for me, and I don't want to take the easy way out and just say Josh Allen,
no,
because he was markedly improved this week, right?
He was great
with his checkdowns and everything. He really did, yeah. But to go like one sort of layer deeper, Dalton Kincaid, baby, making me look like an absolute genius for buying that jersey, man. I was so excited watching him, man. Obviously, his first touchdown as a professional is sick. But, dude, that catch that he had, I believe it was the second half, along the sideline where he went up, toe tapped it, the body control, the ability to get the feet down, dude, like that was absolutely sick, dude. And I do at some point want to talk about that touchdown reception that he had, because there was a lot of really great things that happened there, both on the part of Josh Allen and Dalton Kincaid. But Dalton Kincaid having that game for me, dude, that was the most exciting takeaway I had for sure.
Dude, yeah. It's great to see him come in, right? Dawson Knox is out on IR for a few weeks. Kincaid, this was his opportunity, and he took it, which was great to see. It was cool to see him involved with like a little shovel pass near the end zone. Like that was, I think that absolutely could have been a touchdown. It was. We've seen Travis Kelce do that all the time, and now we get to participate. That's great.
Yep,
that was
that
cool.
was very much remnants of the Kansas City Chiefs offense there with that little shovel pass.
It was right out of the playbook. And, and I'm so excited that we get to be part of that now.
Yeah, I know that's a fun little trick. So I mean, the other one for me, dude, Khalil Shakir. I guess the overarching theme with that is we didn't just force the ball to Stephon Diggs for the entire game. We spread the ball around. Dalton Kincaid very active. Khalil Shakir very active. Gabe Davis very active, which I'm gonna say doesn't overall change my opinion of him and how I feel about him as a player on this team going forward. But outstanding game from him. And then Steph Diggs still contributed, dude. I think he still had 70 yards receiving, which is not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. So I just think seeing the ball get distributed in the passing game a little bit more equally was huge. Tom, anything else you wanna add to that real quick?
Yeah, I completely agree. It was great to see lots of people involved. And my favorite thing about Gabe Davis was that he wasn't used in the normal way that he usually is. He's usually a down the field stretcher, big bodied, 50-50 ball kind of guy. Like he's way down the field. So it was cool to see both Dorsey use him in new ways, and then Gabe Davis actually be able to contribute in new ways. So he was definitely a tendency breaker, and who knows how long that will be able to be successful. Like some teams are now going to catch on to that and be ready for that. However, it was cool to see him not win in the same way he always does. So that felt great.
Yeah. I guess the only other real big positive takeaway, or something that I just really liked that I saw, we took like the one thing that seemed to be working in our previous couple games, which was a hurry up offense. We ran no huddle for the good chunk of the start of that game.
Yeah.
I was liking what I was seeing, man. I thought that no huddle really, really, really works well into Josh Allen's favor.
I agree.
Can I ask a newbie Q around that?
Yeah, dude.
So does that just allow the defense less time to get set, or is it and a separate question, is Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator, less involved in calling the play? Is it more Josh Allen picking the play? Like, what are the benefits to no huddle offense?
Tom, you want to go or you want me to take it?
Yeah, I'll take the defensive side of that. So it keeps the defensive personnel on the field. They have less time to sub out. Right? Because if there's time between, we got the 40, 50-second play clock, there's time for them to sub in and get different packages, different players in to match what we are doing. But if we're going to hurry up, like we're staying in a similar personnel, but so are they. Yeah. So we force their hands if maybe there's a good matchup we like on the field, and say we have an 11 personnel grouping on the field, which is more wide receivers, a smaller, more speedy, more skill player kind of personnel group. And maybe they were stuck in some larger, more less athletic linebacker heavy personnel group. It puts us at the advantage, and we force them to stay on the field and have to continue to make plays in that personnel group. And that's an advantage. And so that's the defensive side of that. Nigel, want to take the offensive side of that?
Yeah. Yep. And Tom crushed that. Offensively, so the way that works with Ken Dorsey and Josh Allen and all that stuff, Ken Dorsey will call down a handful of plays, and then from there, based on what he sees, Josh Allen picks and chooses from that handful of plays that was called down from Ken Dorsey. So I think one of the reasons that works so well for the Bills is because, Josh Allen being the one down on the field, not that Ken Dorsey can't see what's going on from his little perch up there in the box, but Josh Allen is the one in the field of the game and everything. He's able to pick and choose what he wants to call, and that also affects the checks that are available and all that stuff. So Josh does take more of a leadership role in that hurry-up offense situation.
Right. Yeah, man. Good stuff, guys. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, dude.
Good question.
And then I think from there, offense significantly improved. Penalties remain a major issue, dude. That game should have been over way before it got scary on the Jordan Phillips sack. I want to slap Jordan Phillips across the face for committing that penalty, dude. You're 300 some odd pounds. You've already got Baker Mayfield in your clutches. He's going down, and your big dumbass decides to reach up that bear paw and put it on his face mask, dude. Like, that's something I would anticipate from a rookie, not from a multi-year veteran.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do think that play should have been called dead 3 seconds before that. Like Baker was wrapped up. It was forward progress was done. That the ref should have called that as a sack and should have blew that dead. But yeah, no, it's inexcusable for Jordan Phillips to get a face mask there, especially when he has him dead to rights already. And he has help coming. Like, he has him wrapped. Like, help. Another player, I can't remember who it was coming up to help Jordan Phillips finish that tackle. Like, that was silly, and especially in the situation where it was that situational football was not smart there.
Yeah, it just can't happen. We're having too many big significant plays being wrecked by penalties, and it has to stop. I don't know. There's no really, really, really astute analysis that comes from that. We're shooting ourselves in the foot, and it's dumb, stupid penalties. So,
and when we play, we have a tough schedule coming. Like, when we play good teams, they're going to make us pay for that. So I agree that needs to be cleaned up. It's going to be a continued issue. That poor execution is what kind of slowed things down in the second half. We were up 24-10, had opportunities to go up even more, had opportunities to stop the Bucs and force them into long situations and force them to punt the ball, and we helped keep them in the game. And that was frustrating, especially that final drive. the second to last final drive for the Bucs, they finally came alive, which is okay. It is not a problem when another team starts to execute. Baker is making good decisions. There's good catches being made. Like, the other team is paid too. So I'm not trying to be too down on that second to last drive where they eventually got their touchdown throw off of Terrell Bernard's helmet to Mike Evans. But that final drive where, oh, wait, no, let me slow down. That was the drive that was silly. That should not have continued. That was the drive with the Jordan Phillips penalty. My bad. I'm gonna retract that. I'm getting confused. I get
all good, bro.
It feels like so. That was the drive where there was just so much going against us. There was that Jordan Phillips penalty on fourth down. There was another penalty that seemed a little silly for us to be called against us on fourth down. So they converted. Great. Then fourth down in the red zone, fourth and long, and they bounce it off of Terrell Bernard's head. Unlucky, it right into Mike Evans' arms, and he gets a touchdown. Like, at some point, the Bucs offense needed our help to get there, and we were happy to dish that up.
Yeah. Tom, I would love to be along for the ride with you on this second half of football discussion. I absolutely fell asleep during that part of the game. I saw the Bills touchdown drive coming out of the second half, was absolutely elated, super excited, and immediately fell asleep. Did not see another snap in the rest of the game. So, hand up, that's really poor podcasting.
Oh my gosh.
I absolutely passed out. So,
yeah, he went radio silent on the text thread. So I knew something.
Yeah, I woke up at like midnight to a text from Tom being like, "Night, you awake?" Or
yeah, you're still there. You can't be that upset. It's not going that badly.
Yeah.
And then like I said, it was just poor execution in the second half, and the Bucs came alive for a drive or two, and holy cow, we had to hang on for a nail biter at the end there for a Hail Mary throw that thank God fell dead.
Should have been caught.
Should have been caught. Yeah, should have been caught. But, and anybody who's saying that there should have been penalties called, there absolutely should not have been penalties called. Both sides were committing penalties. That was
everybody
made the right play and let the Hail Mary happen. Like, that needs to happen.
Everyone is assaulting everyone in that play.
Yes, it was on both sides. So I don't want to hear anything from Bills players, from Bucs players, from anyone else. I don't want to hear anything. That was exactly how it should have been called. The refs made, in my mind, poor reffing decisions throughout the game. That was the correct one.
Yeah.
And then my last little shout out before we go on, just to continue on, is we got to shout out Sam Martin. That guy was punting out of his mind.
I think every one of his punts was inside the 10-yard line or 4 out of 5 or something like that.
He had another one that was very close. If whichever Bills special teamer was there, who was trying to tip it back into play, he was very close, and that could have been another just pin him deep, and oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah,
so good.
That guy's a weapon, dude. I mean, like you in truth, you don't want to see that guy on the field, at least not kicking. You want to see him holding for, extra point attempts. But in the role that he's, signed for, you don't want to see him. But man, dude, like when he's got to come out and punt, I feel so good about it. And I just know that, knock on wood, the right play is going to be made, right? He's going to put the ball in the right spot, or at least very close to it. So
yes, in good weather, bad weather, and he's been awesome, and he's a great holder for Tyler Bass. Like, been very consistent. Knock on wood again, because we're definitely very stitious here. And but no, he's been looking good. So yeah, I'm really happy. I'm all good. Should we roll on over to some free agency signings? Not free agency signings. Trade deadline signings.
Well, Tom, you're half right, because one of them technically was a free agent addition.
Okay.
But before we do that, I got to say one thing.
Yeah.
Found out today the Jets signed Roger Saffold. So Jets, good luck.
Have fun.
Yep. I will be sending a text to Ed Oliver to make sure he knows that Roger Saffold is now playing guard for your team. So have fun with that situation. So we'll deal with the less, for my money, the less significant of the two recent Bills additions. Leonard Fournette is signing with the team. He's signing to the practice squad. Comes as a free agent, most recently with Tampa Bay, I believe. 6 foot, 228 pounds. He's 28 years old, almost 29. We all know who Leonard Fournette is.
Which is wild. I always thought he was older.
Yeah, thought he was older.
Yeah.
He's a between the tackles runner. He's not going to be someone that's going to gash you with speed on the outside zone runs. He does offer significant improvement on the team right now in terms of pass protection. Latavius Murray is pretty good at that. James Cook is an absolute liability. And the best player that we had for that was indeed Damian Harris, who is now out for what's looking like a significant remainder of the season, considering the fact that we did sign Lenny Fournette. So offers a lot in pass protection. Also offers more in the receiving game than Damian Harris does, which I like. And I mean, I say this is insignificant. I think it more or less is. It seems to me to be a move to keep some beef in the run game that isn't only the oldest player in the league in Latavius Murray. Tom, Jake, you guys have things you want to add to that?
I completely agree. Like I think that's exactly what it is. You nailed it. I also think it's a sign that Damian Harris is not expected back anytime soon. So I think this is him filling that role, because that was having 3 running backs that are all have startable contributions is important, especially in Bills offenses. So now we have James Cook, Latavius Murray, and Leonard Fournette. So he's also known as Playoff Lenny. So
yes.
he has produced. He had quite a few yards from scrimmage last year. Like, he has contributed. I think there's definitely a reason he was a free agent until week 8 of this season. So I don't think we should have high expectations for him. But I do think in the limited role that he's going to come into, I think he's very similar to a Latavius Murray, who can come in and contribute and has the veteran presence there. So I think that's really I'm fine with it, especially for the role that he's coming in. He's not coming in to be the number 1 back.
Yeah. Yep, I'm with you. I'm just fine with it. That's about where I get to with that. It's nothing that really gets me.
Have you seen any
super
compensation
excited.
on that?
No, I don't. It's practice squad, so it's got to be minimal.
Right. So
I don't know what it's going to look like when he gets to the team. It's a no lose situation.
Right. We're not paying out the nose for him.
Yeah. If he sucks, we just don't play him.
Exactly. I think we're all good. So I'm fine with it. We needed a player, and I'll take the veteran presence, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, a guy who's been through the process, has won a Super Bowl recently, can add a little bit of a veteran presence. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then the more significant of the two just happened a couple hours ago here. The Bills are trading for cornerback Rasul Douglas out of the Green Bay Packers defensive squad. So the Bills are sending a 2024 third-round pick in exchange for Rasul Douglas and a 5th-round pick from the Packers, which is also a 2024 pick. Rasul Douglas is 29 years old, 6'2", 209. For me, this is a guy who is good. He's a good player and is a significant improvement over Dane Jackson. I think with Trey White injured right now, Rasul Douglas immediately becomes CB1 on this team. However, 29 years old, to me, likely a serviceable Band-Aid until the team gets more clarity on the health and future of Trey White, which to me also will probably impact the length of time that Rasul Douglas is a Bill. Tom, you want me to keep going here in my bullet points, or do you want to chime in?
No, you're doing great. I will chime in though.
Yeah.
So no, yes is what how that was. Yeah, that was good. That was
you
nice.
got it, buddy.
Yeah, crushed it. I agree. I think he's a serviceable back. I really do. I think this is significant, especially because we've always been screaming and kicking and crying for Brandon Beane to make a trade deadline move. Like, this was huge. I think he's going to be able to come in, be part of that rotation. And Dane Jackson, honestly, I've been happy with. My biggest concern was that, okay, oh boy, after Dane Jackson,
yes,
oh my gosh, we need depth beyond that. Who do we have? Well, now I agree. I think it's going to be Christian Benford and Rasul Douglas eventually. I don't know. We'll get to the Bengals game here. I don't know if Rasul Douglas will be starting in that game, just because it's been a week and that's hard to do. But I definitely think he'll be on the active roster. He'll be playing, and I think eventually it becomes Christian Benford, Rasul Douglas, with Dane Jackson behind him, Kyer Elam behind him, because clearly he wasn't moved. Which we can maybe get back to that, but I'm relatively okay with that. Let's keep the rook, that second year player, and let him continue to develop, but not put him in that starting role. I think the fact that Rasul Douglas has experience and is known for his role as a zone defenses is huge, because that's what he's going to be asked to do in this Sean McDermott defense, is play zone. Not like Elam, who was more of a man specialist and have to fill a role that he wasn't comfortable with. Rasul Douglas has played in defenses like this. So I think that'll be huge. He's He's a good tackler. He has good ball skills. Like, he's kind of a ball hawk. He has multiple interceptions over the past few years.
Yeah, he
so
does.
I like, you know what? Like, let's let him go play, especially when we have this defense that is designed to be a little bit more aggressive. Like, you know what? Maybe he comes in and makes an impact. So I'm excited. I had well, go ahead, and then I actually have one more comment on the compensation for the exchanges of picks and things.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you pretty much covered it there, Tom. Just a couple numbers things. As far as this year goes, he's dirt cheap for the rest of this season. He counts for less than 900,000 against the cap this year.
Yeah,
it's actually way closer to 800. So yeah, it's absolutely nothing. Next year, that skyrockets a bunch. He's owed $9 million. However, it is not guaranteed, which I think is a significant piece of this whole thing getting done. Brandon Beane, according to everybody on Twitter, made a massive push to get Jalen Johnson out of Chicago. And by all accounts from, again, the same people on Twitter, Chicago's asking price for him was just absolutely outrageous. I get that he is a young cornerback one that was drafted in the second round and is outplaying his draft value, which is always going to make teams freak out a little bit. For me, dude, and we didn't really talk about this much, but for me, I guess I would love to know what they were asking for him. Like, if it was like multiple first round picks, then yeah, get out of here. But I mean, this is a guy, dude, that, like, if you're concerned that Trey White is done, this is a guy who you immediately replace that with way more youth, a ton of athleticism, and a guy that is operating as a full-on bona fide cornerback one this season. I would love to know what they were asking. If it was a first and Kaiir Elam, me personally, I'd probably make that trade.
You'd wrap them and bubble wrap them, ship them yourself.
Yeah, and now I know a lot of people treat first round picks like they are gold, and they can be. I think one of Brandon Beane's best moves up to this point was trading a first round pick for Stephon Diggs, bar none. This could have been a situation. If I'm being honest, I was hoping we were going to get that with Jalen Johnson. But you know, it is what it is. I think Rasul Douglas is a great compensatory get. Not the youth, not the athleticism, but a more than serviceable player who should positively impact the team pretty quick.
I agree. And my thought on that is, like, I wonder if Beane had this Rasul Douglas deal lined up as well, and just thinking opportunity cost. If he can get Rasul Douglas for a fifth, and a fifth for a third, like, as opposed to go to the Bears and trying to send in a huge amount of picks and have to sign him eventually to a big deal. Like, I wonder if he just thought, okay, this is going to get me 80% of the way there for much less. I'm wondering if that's what came to mind for him.
Go
ahead.
No, I'm just agreeing. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. And so the big thing for me is we actually have an extra third round pick this year because Tremaine Edmonds was signed to such a large free agent deal.
Oh, that's right.
So this is essentially we're playing with house money, right?
Yep.
Being sent a third round pick that we had extra. We still have a third round pick for this upcoming draft.
Yep.
And then we get Rasul Douglas and a fifth. Like, that doesn't. I'm happy with that, especially for what we're paying him this year. We have a non-guaranteed contract next year. Beane's going to definitely do something with that, and I think that's great. So I'm happy with this. I'm glad that we made a move, especially on defense. Like, we needed the bodies, we needed the depth. I was hoping for a D tackle as well. So who knows? I don't know if there's any free agents are out there or anything else we could go do, but I really like that. What do you think, Nigel? Are we ready to move on to Bengals?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think we recapped that pretty well there. I totally forgot about the compensatory third round pick for Tremaine Edmonds. That's a great call by you.
Right? Like, hey, we're not giving away the only third we have. Like, we have a second. So
I totally forgot about that.
Let's go get a player now. So,
yeah, I know. I would like to see us sign one of those maybe veteran D tackles that are on the market, but we'll
I heard Ndagamalu Suh rumors, and I was starting to salivate.
How do you say his first name, Tom?
Mr. Sue.
Ndamukong Suh, I think is how it's said. Maybe I'm wrong.
Good for you. Yeah, you're really confident about that.
yeah, I was. And I'm probably way off. All right, let's get to the Bills and Bengals preview. So the Bills will play the Bengals Sunday Night Football this coming Sunday. the Bengals are finally figuring it out 1 week before they're going to play us.
Yep.
So
yep, of course.
I'm like, what the hell is going on there? Yeah, they're getting healthy, man. They're getting some players back on the offensive line and all that stuff. Now, this is where it becomes really interesting for me. Is Rasul Douglas going to play? Because I have written down here, I don't know how this defense is going to stop Jamar Chase. We just simply don't have the personnel in terms of size and speed to keep up with this guy. Yep. Rasul Douglas very much helps with that size component, at least. So it would be awesome to see him play. But I don't know, Tom, go ahead.
I think he does. I think he at least plays. I don't know if he starts. I think it's going to be Dane Jackson and Christian Benford. I'm calling it now. We'll see what happens later this week, but I think he's going to be on the active roster. I think he comes in and he's playing a limited number of snaps, but he's going to be in there in important situations. And yeah, I agree. And I absolutely, you nailed it on the head. Like, we're going to need to go. This is going to be a high-powered game. If we have if we need to have a chance, we're going to have to go put up 30 plus to have a chance against the Bengals.
It's funny that you say that, dude, because I'm looking at the score prediction bullet and I'm thinking in my head, I for whatever reason, I'm anticipating a low-scoring game. I don't know why. Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't think our defense is going to be able to keep the Bengals back.
It's probably true.
They're going to get 24, 28, 30 plus points. So for us to win this game, we're going to need points. So I think it's going to be high scoring. And I agree, it's going to be really tough. Joe Burrow's coming back alive. He's looking good. He even he had some rushes last week. His calf is clearly much more healthy than it was early in the season. He's looking good. Joe Mixon is going to be a problem. I don't know how we're stopping. I mean, we've been just like a sieve trying to stop the run game against any opponent. So that'll be great.
Yeah, dude.
Especially when we have Hulk. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're fairly healthy coming out of that Tampa Bay game, right?
Yeah, we were completely healthy. Yeah, okay. Completely. So that's great.
So Big Ed, you play every play.
Yeah.
Don't come off the field.
For me, dude, I have written down here, Phillips and Settle, they just look like they're playing defensive tackle on ice skates these last couple games. Settle especially. He is getting Tim Settle is fire that guy to the moon, dude. Yeah. He cannot stop getting blown off the ball immediately. I don't understand.
I don't know how he started over Puna Ford all that time. And I don't of the beginning. So I don't know.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, for me, dude, Puna Ford is the one that deserves to get these snaps opposite of Ed Oliver. Yeah. Like, he should be the number 2 right now. He looked good, I thought, against the Bucs. At least in the first half when I was awake.
He did. No, he had a much better game than when he looked against the Patriots. The Patriots, he looked terrible.
Yeah.
And I was very concerned and could see why he wasn't on the active roster, or the starting for active 48. But yeah, so that's gonna be a big deal. Offense needs to be we need to come out and have a plan, because man, what's the name of the Bengals defensive coordinator? It's escaping me.
Oh man, Zach Taylor's the head coach, right?
Lou Anarumo, right?
Anarumo, yep.
Yeah, man. Lou, he has a very cool defense, folks. His defense looks different every drive.
It's malleable.
It is so multiple, and it's insane. And it's insane that he can get these players prepped and ready to do that, and he's able to coach that. It's very impressive. So yeah. I don't know what we're gonna see. It's gonna be different, and it's gonna be something crazy. They're gonna try and get to Josh and make him have to move off his first read and make him really think. So I'm hoping that Josh gets all his sleep this week, eats his Wheaties, and his brain is ready to go, because he's gonna have to think to beat these Bengals.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for more of the same that we just saw. Be willing to take the checkdowns when the free runner is coming on the blitz. Get the ball out quick, get it out hot. To Kincaid, Shakir, and Cook. Yeah, I'm just hoping to see more of the same, dude. Continue to utilize Gabe Davis in different ways. Don't just keep, like Tom was saying, sending him down the field to win 50-50 contested catches. And still, dude, I still, and I know people are probably going to be sick of me saying this, still looking to see a little bit more involvement from James Cook in the passing game. Get that ball without a screen, right? Because we don't, for whatever reason, we just can't seem to run screens.
Can't do that. Nope.
We need to facilitate this guy with the ball in space a different way. I don't know what the answer is. That's why I'm not an offensive coordinator. That's why I'm an elementary band director. I get paid to do what I know how to do. I don't know what the answer is for getting him involved more outside of screens in the passing game, but the guy is too damn quick to not have the ball in his hands more. I don't understand why it's not more of a focal point. more of the same would be good.
I hope we scheme him up. Yep. I think it's going to be, they're going to have to come out and play a very good game. This is probably the toughest test we'll have all season. So far this season. Maybe minus the Dolphins, but thankfully they came out and looked really good against that. So here we'll see. What do you guys say? Should we do some score predictions?
Yeah, Jake, I haven't heard your voice in forever. You go first. By the way, Jake, I thought of you this past weekend. I don't remember the score. I don't remember the teams. There was a scoregami this past weekend, though, in the world of the NFL.
No way. I missed it.
Oh, nice. Do some.
I'll do a little floating around here while you guys are giving your predictions.
You know I love a good scoregami. It's one of my favorite parts of scores in the NFL. So with that said, this weekend, I'm going to go for another scoregami and say 25-18. I think the Bills have a tough time stopping the Bengals offense. I'm going to say 25-18 Bengals.
Oh, Jake, taking a page out of my book there.
Well, I'm going to follow right through him. I'm in the next chapter. I'm going to say it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I don't think we're going to be able to keep up. We're going to the Bengals. We're going to Cincinnati. I think we lose 34-27.
Holy shit, you guys. Well, first of all, the scoregami, Dallas Cowboys defeated the Los Angeles Rams by a score of 43-20, being the 1,079th distinct score and the fourth scoregami of the 2023 NFL season.
Oh, really? Right.
Yeah,
there's that many?
Dude.
That's crazy.
Apparently, that's crazy. Oh, man. 35-28 Bills.
Oh, okay. All right. There we go.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, Nige.
I know. Yep. I'm going to lean on the boys. I'm going to, we all keep saying, we don't want the Bills to start playing their best ball now. It's time to start thinking about getting there. Right?
Yeah,
like we're halfway through, just about.
We need some wins, especially some conference wins. A win over the Bengals would be huge.
We need to start stacking some of these interconference wins, the divisional wins. It's okay to not be playing our best ball right now, but we got to be on the cusp of starting to play our best ball. And I would love to see us there's a lot of, there's going to be some weird emotions with this game, dude, right? The last time that we were in Cincinnati was the Damar Hamlin injury. So I think it's going to be kind of an ominous, weird feeling. I think with that, you're going to see the boys come out swinging. And as long as we can just keep the same Josh Allen we saw this past Thursday night, meaning taking the checkdowns, keeping the ball hot, spreading it around, no sugar high stuff, we're right there. We're right there with this Cincinnati team. So
I agree.
Yeah. All right, so we switch some gears here over to some Sabres
stuff. Around over. Yeah,
Jake, you've been brainstorming a bit of a Halloween special for us with the Sabres this evening. Yeah,
I thought we'd do a little trick-or-treating in regards to the Sabres so far and see what early spooky trends will continue throughout the season and what will turn into some treats, perhaps. So, with that said, I'm gonna read off a couple of stats from the season so far, and
this is the sickest drop ever, dude.
I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm turning it down. You gotta talk over it.
Keep going.
You guys can't see us, but we're all swaying our heads and shoulders a little bit in our video chat. All right, Jake.
Guys, so I'm gonna read off a couple of stats from the season so far. You tell me if it's a trick or a treat. That should be pretty obvious. But what I want you to really tell me is it indicative of a season-long trend, or is it something that we'll see correct itself or come back closer to what you would expect?
Okay.
So with that said, Victor Olofsson, 0 points through the first 9 games of Buffalo's season. Trick or treat?
I don't think that's a trick at all. I think Victor Olofsson stinks in his current position with the Sabres, and the only way he's going to get goals is on the power play, which he isn't even always on right now. And to piggyback off of that, he's not even dressed for every game right now. He's a healthy scratch every other game. So for me, it's definitely not a trick. Certainly not a treat either. We would like to see him be impactful. But in terms of the game here, it's a treat, dude. I don't see him taken off by any stretch of the imagination. And I once again think once Jack Quinn is back, you're going to see Olofsson traded.
Yeah, completely agree. How about 2 players that are at a point per game pace so far? That's Rasmus Dahlin and Jeff Skinner. Trick or treat? Keep that going?
Yep. Treat. Yep.
Treats all the way.
Dolls, man. Freaking. off to a good start. Was off to a great start last season. Keep it up. I'm waiting to see, waiting to hear the Norris conversations. It won't start for a couple months, but I hope he's in that conversation. He keeps this up. He definitely will be. Skinner is keeping our offense afloat right now. Keep it rolling, Jake.
And you want Darlene to be where in the Norris voting?
I want him to be first.
Hey, very good. Yes. All right. I was getting my clucker ready.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
No, I want him to be first.
JJ Peterka has got 4 goals through the year. He's scoring at a 36-goal pace. Granted, he's shooting at a 20% clip. Trick or treat, does that continue?
Nah, that's going to be a trick, dude. And I mean, by all means, JJ Peterka, if you ever hear this pod, shove it straight up my hoop. I hope you do. But I don't see this continuing to be a trend for him. 20% shooting clip is absolutely freaking outrageous. Not something that I think can be kept up over an 82-game pace. I expect to see this slow down in the next couple months.
I agree. I don't think it'll slow down too much. I imagine he'll get more chances that'll just drop his shooting percent. I still think he pots 25, 30 goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Sabres penalty kill is 6th in the NHL currently at a rate of 89.2% successful kills. Trick or treat?
I'm gonna go with treat on this one, dude. Yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with treat, and it comes back to the additions of oh God, who do we add? Eric Johnson and Clifton. So, but Clifton didn't even play the last game or so. So.
Nope.
Yeah, for me, dude, I think that's gonna be a treat, dude. I don't think there's any massive reasons why that should slow down, barring significant injury.
Yeah, I've been pounding the table for Eric Johnson. He's such a good penalty killer, and I think that's one of the reasons we brought him in.
Yeah,
and it showed.
He's awesome.
Now, the flip side of special teams, the power play, scoring only 1 goal more than they've allowed. So they've scored 3 power play goals and given up 2 shorthanded goals. And they're operating at 10.7%, which is 29th in the NHL. Trick or treat?
Yeah, dude, in order to help me sleep at night, I have to hope that this is a trick. This especially the first power play unit, and the second one's potent too, but particularly the first one, that first power play unit should be operating 23 to 25% success on that power play. I think what I'm seeing right now is either a lack of willingness or a lack of knowing what to do in terms of an adjustment. Teams are taking away Tage Thompson on the power play now. They know he's got an unreal shot. They need to find a different way to put the puck in the net that isn't just Tage Thompson. I don't know where that goes, but I have to pray that this is a trick.
I totally agree. They've been trying to funnel the puck into the bumper, so in the slot, to try to get traffic in front of the net, and it hasn't been incredibly successful, but I could see a scenario where that can create more offense. But I totally agree with you. Teams are taking away the shot from Tage, taking away the pass to Tage, and that was so lethal last year. You have to expect that teams are going to take that away, and they look crippled because of that. And it looks static. I really wish they would try to produce more off of zone entries on the power play and just take the quick shot rather than setting up and cycling, because that's not a strength that they have. So anyways, we'll hope that turns around. I got 2 more for you before we move on. The Sabres are the 6th most penalized team in the NHL. It feels like they're often killing penalties, which, given their penalty kill success, is okay, but you can't rely on that. So is that penalty clip a trick or a treat?
I think that's eventually going to turn out to be a trick. We can't forget this is the youngest team in the NHL. There's a lot of immaturity on this team. They're not going to get, the benefit of the doubt from referees. A Sidney Crosby is probably going to have less penalties called against him than, a Dylan Cousins, just because Crosby is established. Everybody knows who he is. No one wants to piss him off. Yada, 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 yada. I have to assume that eventually these guys are going to figure that out and the penalties will start to drop. I'm going to blame it on immaturity at this point, but this is a losing formula. You can't take this many penalties, regardless of how good your penalty kill is. This is a recipe to miss the playoffs by 4 to 2 points. Yep, for me.
Last one, expected goal for percentage, 45%. So just real quick, that means that of the chances that are happening at both ends of the ice, the percent that you would expect to be goals based on models is 45% for the Sabres. So ideally, you want the team above 50% to increase that goal share, but right now they're sitting at 45. Trick or treat.
I'm going to say trick on this one, too. I think that's going to go up. We've seen this team. We've had a couple games now where the offensive output has been good, but I think that's going to start to continue to ascend as the season rolls along. There's just too many good goal scorers on this team for that to not happen. So I'm going to say trick for that one, personally.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree. I think that comes up. It's started to awaken the offense. The goals have started to come a little bit more. I thought they looked really good against both New Jersey and Colorado. So since our last podcast, they lost 5-4 to New Jersey, won 4-0 against Colorado. Yeah, the goals started to come. I mean, scoring 8 across 2 games is a great first step to awaken that offense. And I really think that despite a need to take a step back offensively to fix the defensive side of the game, you don't want to overstep and lose too much of your offensive output. So I'm happy to see them start to put some pucks in.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely been a slow start to the season, but I'm very confident this team will start to have more consistent, 4-goal games like we've had. Speaking of the 4-goal games, let's recap the last few games since our last pod, which was not that long ago. There's only been 2 games. We lost to the Devils 5-4 and beat the wheels off of Colorado 4-0.
That was a heck of a great game for me to watch the first game of the season.
Yeah,
I watched the season. That was fun.
So Tom, I'm going to send you the schedule, and you need to plan your life around that schedule, it seems like, because I need you watching the games.
Okay.
Jake, I don't know about for you, man. For me, holy shit, that Devils team they look like an absolute buzzsaw. They're terrifying.
They picked up right where they left off last year. Yeah. They're terrifying. Jack Hughes is legit. I'll praise him all day long.
Yeah.
They're a great team. With that said, I thought Buffalo hung in with them that game.
They did.
It sucks that you need to that Comrie went down with an injury and you need to have UPL come in cold. I'm not going to blame the loss on that switch, but it sucks that happened. Yeah, it didn't help. But yeah, they hung right in there with New Jersey. They put up a lot of high danger chances against them and dominated play for stretches of the game. So they hung in there with one of, if not one of the best teams in the league this year, I thought.
Yeah, I think the biggest bummer about that game, at least for me, was Cousins tied it at 4 very late in the game. And then it couldn't have been more than a minute after that. New Jersey immediately goes back up by 1. That is the goal that I need to stop seeing happen from this team to feel like that they are taking the next step, right?
Yeah.
Like at that point, you score that 4th goal that late in the game. I don't remember exactly how much time was left. That game has got to get to overtime. You've got to find a way to get a point out of that game. It really, really, really bummed me out to see us immediately give up that 5th goal and then lose and get no points. That definitely sucked. But New Jersey is incredibly potent. That team runs 4 lines that can score, runs 6 nasty, quick, skilled defensemen, and Vitek Vanacek is no joke in that. So that's a buzzsaw for Devils team. We'll get them a few more times this year. Another buzzsaw team though that we kicked the brakes off of, 4-0 win against the Colorado Avalanche is nothing to shake your head at. Jake, did you have any big takeaways from that game?
Absolutely not. No, they just set a record for number of road wins consecutively dating back to last season into this. And it ended as they lost to Pittsburgh, also 4-0, but then Buffalo piled on and gave them another 4-0 loss. So
yeah.
Great game. Tom, that was your first game, you said. You wanna pitch in any takeaways you had from the game?
It was cool to see the team take the lead and hold the lead, right? To see them they'll keep that pace. Especially, I mean, you guys like hyped up the Avalanche, right? Like they're a decent team, right?
Oh, they're sick.
They're
way more than
team.
decent. Yeah.
Right.
I'll hype them up despite the loss. Yeah.
Right.
So to hang in there with a team like that, I think is a big deal. It was. I'm going to be honest. In my experience watching hockey is a lot of, oh my gosh, there's a lot going on all at once, right? And I think it's just going to take time. So I'm excited for this season to continue to watch more and get more and more cerebral about it and know what's going on without having to think as much. But yeah, no, it was great. It
Yeah.
was very fun to watch. It was cool to see them take the lead, hold the lead, and continue to play well throughout the game. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, let's shout out that goalie, UPL, right? That's what we're calling him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
UPL.
Like, that's a big deal. First shutout of his career.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
a bullet point
And
that we have.
I'll say this. One of the first games that he's won in a long time, first games that he's played in a long time, where I felt confident in what he was doing. He wasn't giving up crazy rebounds. He wasn't fighting the puck. And yeah, it's just he looked confident, and I'm thrilled to see that. It's few and far between in the games that he has played. So
yeah, first of all, dude, you gotta commend the guy for getting his first professional shutout. That's huge. I would like to hope that starts to snowball a little bit, right? Like, and this is what goalies do, man. Like, they catch a good game, and then they're weird and they're creatures of habit, and they just start to pile on their successes. Some of them also pile on their failures too, which UPL has also been guilty of. I think you made a good point by not totally blaming him for the Jersey game. I think it's got to be so hard. Well, I did it as a younger guy coming in cold for, a goalie halfway through a game. It's hard to do, man. Like, you're not prepped. You're not that you're not prepped, but you're not warmed up. You've just been sitting on the bench, opening and closing the door for guys coming off the ice. Like, that's a hard position to be in. And then for him to not play well that game, and then the next game come out and absolutely crush it, tracking the puck well, decent control of rebounds. I would have liked to have seen some more of those. But man, one thing that he's got over Devin Levi that this is a reason that I hope UPL turns out to be a success. He's so freaking big. You look at him in that net, dude. He looks like he's 2 feet over the crossbar. Like,
he's massive, yeah.
The guy is a mammoth, dude. So, like, you need to see him start to continue, because having a big, successful goalie like that is only going to help in those times when Levi needs a break. And, in a perfect world, these guys are competing like crazy for that 1A spot.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, this is so good time to talk about some goalie news. We talked about Eric Comrie, lower body injury against the Devils, a similar injury to what he had last year, where it was a non-contact injury. So you hope that's not indicative of larger issues of being injury prone. But in any case, I guess starting the year with the 3 goalie carousel is not a bad thing. Looks like he'll be out a couple of weeks. The good news is Devin Levi looks to be slated to come back this week before the Flyers game. So we'll see who starts that game. I imagine they give it to UPL, since he first shutout against Colorado. Give him a vote of confidence, come back and take the net against the Flyers, and work Levi back in. Give him some time to recuperate.
Yeah, man. I agree with you completely in the sense that I think we should allow UPL to start this game tomorrow night, Wednesday. I think he's earned it. And yeah, like you just said, I think that vote of confidence from the coaching staff could be absolutely huge just for his mentals. So if it were me, I'm Don Granato, I'm saying, hell yeah, UPL, great last game. Go do it again, is my thought. But who knows, man?
100%.
Yeah.
Other newsy point, Dahlin is on an 8-game point streak. A lot of assists in there, and 1 goal the other night against to close the game out against Colorado. Tied for the longest point streak in the NHL this year, which is phenomenal. Props to him. He's tied with Willie Nylander, Dylan Larkin, and Artemi Panarin. So for those following along at home, those are all forwards, and we have a D-man doing that. And you know what? Honestly, he's looked great this year. I don't feel like he's taken over a game and really influenced it. He's just been very solid. So I think there's another step that he can take as the year goes on, and I'm salivating, waiting to see that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I agree completely, dude. It sounds to me like, or it looks to me like Dolls is going to absolutely crush it this year. Hopefully that continues. Jake, why don't you walk us through the current record and then touch on a couple of these discussion points here, and then we'll get out of here.
Let's do it. Yeah, so they're 4-5 right now. They're 8th in the division, which is last. There's 8 teams in the division. However, it's bunched up. They're 3 points out of the final playoff spot. I don't think they've opened the season incredibly well, and I think the it's all up. At least it can be. So yeah, I'm still very hopeful. Coming up here, they have some trap games, I would say, against Philadelphia, a home and away Wednesday night and Friday night this week against Philly, and then a Saturday night game against their cross-border rival Toronto. So we'll see how those go. We'll get to some predictions there in a second. Just one other big discussion point that I wanted to hit on is decisions that are coming up for Zach Benson and Matt Savoie. So to recap a little bit, Zach Benson has played 6 games in Buffalo. He can play up to 9 games until he burns a year of his contract. So he's got 3 left that he can suit up for before they need to make the decision. Put a pin in him. Matt Savoie is currently playing down in the AHL. He's played 3 games down there and has 3 points and looked good doing it. He's on a conditioning assignment down there. So coming back from injury, you're allowed to go down to the AHL for either 14 days or 5 games played, whichever comes first. So he's got 2 more games left that he can make the roster for before he needs to either be assigned to Buffalo or go back to junior. So some decisions coming up for those 2 guys. Nigel, any thoughts on what you hope happens with either of those guys? What do you think Kevin Adams does? What do you hope happens?
Anything dude. I think for me, Zach Benson, I think he's got to go back down. The more I see him play, dude, the more I am not positive that he's ready. I think he's just got to get a little bit stronger, all those things, learn the game a little bit more. In a perfect world, dude, truth be told, I'd like to see him in Rochester, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he'll be back down to juniors, which is fine. He's a baby, it'll give him time to strengthen up a little bit. So I personally, for his development, I hope Zach Benson goes back down to juniors. I think that's going to be the best thing for him. Not that he's been bad or terrible or anything like that, but I would love to see him just take a little bit more time to mature. This team has to find a way to get Matt Savoie in Rochester and stay there. I don't know what that looks like. I haven't done that research to see what would need to happen beyond a conditioning stint. I don't know if you know how that works, Jake. That would be something for us to definitely touch on next pod. But he clearly fits there. He's going to be too good for juniors. Honestly, so is Zach Benson. Zach Benson's just a year younger. Goddamn, dude. Find a way, Kevin, to keep Matt Savoie in Rochester because that is where he needs to be.
We can pull it apart a little bit more next time, depending on what happens. But I don't think there's a way he stays down there. I think the appeal got denied. He's either in Buffalo or back to juniors. So I think that, to answer the question I asked you, I think that's what happens. I think Benson goes back to junior. I think Savoie, after his conditioning stint, comes up to the big team and slots in where Benson's been playing.
Really?
I think so. I think he earned it during the prospect tourney in camp. I think without that injury, I think we'd be talking about Savoie being on the team right now and maybe not Benson.
Yeah, maybe.
So we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to kind of see how that shakes out. But at the same time, I also am not mad about Benson sticking around and burning a year of that entry-level contract for roster building reasons that perhaps we can get into more in a later episode because we are running short on time. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing at all to burn a year of your contract as an entry-level player.
Yeah, no, I don't care about burning the year of the contract at all. Burn it. I could give a shit. He's not passing my eye test personally. So
and it's the roster spot. It's a spot we've got a lot of forwards that can flat out play. So
yep. Which we'll have to do. We'll have to do a trade possibility episode. Once Jack Quinn is back, Jake, I think that would be a good thing for us to do.
Agreed.
And then, Jake, you want to talk us through the road ahead, and then we'll do a little prediction.
Yeah, sounds good. So I mentioned it before. They're playing Wednesday against Philadelphia. They're playing Friday against Philadelphia again, so a little home and home there. And then finally on Saturday, they play against Toronto. So tough matchup there against a good team and a rival team. So what are you thinking for those 3 games, Nigel? How do you think they fare?
I'll go on a bit of a limb here. I'm gonna say 3-0 on this stretch. Philly on paper can't hold our jockstrap. They do have a very similar record to us right now, but I don't know, dude. Philly just flat out doesn't scare me even a little bit. They're in the rebuild process right now. I don't see them being able to. Let me rephrase. They shouldn't be able to skate with us. the Sabres are just flat out faster than the Flyers. But this is a weird game sometimes. So I don't know, but I would like to see us take advantage of the worst team. And then as long as I live, I just don't think I'm ever going to be able to pick Toronto beating us. It very well could happen. Toronto's sick. I just fucking hate them so goddamn much. So 3-0, baby.
I'm right there with you. I despise Toronto. It's not the team itself that I hate as much. It's the fans. The fans coming down and buying all the tickets in Buffalo and all that nonsense. So yeah, I hate them too. I'm right there with you. I'll go. I'm on the same vein. I'm going to go 2-0-1. I think Philly is a bad team on paper, like you said. I feel like we've struggled against them in recent years.
We have
a John Tortorella coach team. They're gonna be competing and playing hard no matter what. And I think we've struggled against teams that can slow us up in the neutral zone and forecheck effectively against us. And I see them doing that. I don't think they're good enough to give us too many headaches, but I see them maybe taking one in OT. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they're 3-0. And then I, of course, am on the same page. I'm picking them against Toronto. They usually play well against Toronto. They get fired up for those kinds of games, and I think it's going to be an exciting game to watch. So mark your calendars for Saturday night. Tom, that's you too. Let's
Tune in. Let's go.
Yeah, Tom, take us home, pal.
All right. Hey, episode 14, guys. These episodes are just flying by, so this is exciting. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we appreciate you spending some time with us. It would mean a lot to us if you would share this episode. Maybe send it out with your trick-or-treaters tonight. There we go. We got the music going, and hand out some stickers, some QR codes as the trick-or-treaters come to the door. That would be phenomenal. Give us a follow on Instagram and X at Let's Go Buff Pod. These are my pals, Jake and Nigel. My name is Tom, and you're listening to the Let's Go Buffalo Podcast. We're sending you love wherever you are. Go Bills, go Sabres, let's go Buffalo.